federal government has introduced Bill C-34, the Safe Social Media Act. It would prohibit children under 16 from having social media accounts unless platforms can demonstrate they meet strict safety standards. The legislation also proposes mandatory age verification, new rules for AI chatbots, the creation of a powerful digital safety commission to oversee the online world. Let's get Michael Geist's take at this, the Canada Research Chair in Internet and E-commerce Law at the University of Ottawa. Michael, always a pleasure. Thanks for hopping on again today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
What's your instant take on C-34?
Right. Well, I think there are some elements that I like. I'm happy to see the duty to act responsibly, which was in the prior bill, come back. I actually think they dealt with AI chatbots pretty reasonably. But the core elements of this legislation are so deeply troubling, from the social media ban to the incredible amount of uncertainty, because so many of these issues are left to either cabinet or the Digital Safety Commission. And the commission itself, I think, really has to be taken a close look at, because the powers that are being invested in a single body that is both investigator, regulator, and advocate are positively astonishing.
And I just wonder, Michael, were there not enough bodies in the country already? Like there was no current commission, body, authority already getting paid hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars that we could have just added this task to? Like I always, when I hear the government wants to create another commission, I always roll my eyes here. So I just wonder your take here on yet another commission, seemingly the answer to so many things in this country.
Right. Well, I think someone does have to enforce this. And I'm not sure that the CRTC is the right spot or the Privacy Commission is the right spot. So I have to admit, I am sensitive to the notion that someone's got to do it. But the way they have structured this someone, I think, ought to give real pause. I mean, this really does create a super regulator that will set everything from age verification standards to when certain kinds of content can be removed, to when the social media ban itself may be exempted. And it does all of this while setting its own rules of evidence, has the potential to set up secret hearings in appropriate circumstances. And actually, when it gets started, it quite literally can be a single commissioner. The chair is the commission, if that's all they've got at the start.
So let me just ask you, because it seems like a lot of this bill leaves it up to later. Like, for instance, age verification. And you mentioned this before. Like, okay, we know there's age verification. We don't know how they'll do the age verification. And we're sort of left to just trust them that they'll do it in an okay manner eventually. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right. And in some ways, the problem with the commission is the combination of all those powers and all that uncertainty vested in this new super regulator. And the uncertainty is truly unbelievable. I identified in one post at least 50 items that are really important to how this law will actually function that are yet to be determined and will not be determined by Parliament. So it will either be left to the cabinet to decide, or it'll be left to this new commission. So, for example, if you were to ask me, okay, well, which social media companies are subject to the law on the day this takes effect? And some may have seen Britain is moving ahead with a social media ban as well, they say, and they've identified the specific sites. In Canada, the answer is no one is subject to it, because they haven't even set the rules for what the thresholds would be to know which of these services are subject to it. What age verification system's appropriate? How much privacy do you need? We don't know. That has to be set by the commission itself. So there's just so much left for later.
Michael, I try very hard to make sure I'm not living in a silo, that my algorithms are not just feeding me one take on this subject, but boy, do I get hit with takes where I'm like, well, here we go again. Another example of this government trying to decide too many things, trying to take too much control, trying to control the internet here. And I wonder if you could tell me, well, what part of that, what I'm hearing in the echo chamber is valid, and what part of it is, hey, you know what, this is a serious problem that needs to be handled.
This is both a serious problem that needs to be addressed, and this is also massive overreach in this legislation that goes far beyond what I think the government could and frankly should be doing to address what are some legit harms. I mean, there are real harms online. We should recognize that's the case. And I think there is a good case to be made that the companies that have been given perhaps too much free rein in recent years, that they've oftentimes have the right policies in place, but it's not clear they enforce them effectively, and there aren't serious enough penalties where they fail to do so. So I think there is space to say, you know what, we need to be doing a better job on the regulatory side. But that doesn't mean you need a ban. It means you need better social media regulation more broadly, so that everybody, whether a 17-year-old or a 16-year-old gets appropriate, or a 15-year-old gets appropriate levels of protection. And I think at the same time, we need to recognize that in creating both this level of uncertainty, it vests a huge amount of power, both in the cabinet and in this commission. And they have set this commission up with just such broad powers for how it functions. It's hard to think of a regulator that has anything close to that in Canada right now.
Michael, to wrap up here, it seems like the winds are blowing in one direction in much of the West. And when I say the West, Europe, the UK, we're getting news out of the UK today on the same front on banning social media for the under 16s. We've seen it in Australia. And then on the other side, it seems like in the US, wind's blowing in another direction, and there seems to be a schism and a battle brewing because of it. How do you see this? It doesn't seem like it's just Canada who's acting here. Is it much of the West that are perhaps going too far in government overreach on digital safety?
Well, listen, as I was just saying, I do think there are real issues here that need regulation. I also feel, though, that some of what we're seeing really is just a moral panic, and that the evidence itself, in terms of some of the harms that are described, is far more inconclusive than what the science actually tells us. And regardless, even if you come to the conclusion that, there's enough people who are affected by this negatively, that notwithstanding there are many people who have positive experiences, we need to act. The approach that they are taking is both unlikely to work and likely to cause harm to many. Let's face it, at the end of the day, this legislation will require tens of millions of Canadians to age verify in order to post a picture on Facebook or a note on Reddit. And it will do so without any clear-cut protections for their privacy along the way.
Michael, we'll leave it there. I'm sure we'll have lots of opportunities to discuss this further. Thanks so much.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
From the University of Ottawa, Canada Research Chair in Internet and E-commerce Law, that's Michael Geist.
Close your eyes, and you can hear the entire world come alive. 2026 FIFA World Cup is on, and you can stream it all live on TSN Radio. From the opening kickoff to the final celebration, every match, every moment. Listen to FIFA World Cup on TSN Radio.
Gives Canada the lift off.
Available on iHeartRadio.